Welcome to the channel, everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about the body file. Now, I've showed a little bit of use in one of my previous videos on how I just take it and skim over the panel and you can see your high and low spots. Years ago, the cars and trucks used to be a lot heavier than they are now. And if you had a dent, you could actually hammer and dolly and you'd use the file to shave off the high spots. You'd pick up the metal a little bit higher than it's supposed to be and you just keep working this over and you'd file it off. So actually your sheet metal was your filler. And anymore, today's cars, they're just not heavy enough to do that. They don't want anything like that used on them anyway because you remove some of the galvanized. But years ago, there was no galvanized coating on there. You actually had some steel you could work with. Even on today's cars, the panels aren't stiff enough to support any kind of pressure from a file. You're really putting pressure on it. You're working that file in there, cutting the steel off, and you can't have it flexing and bowing like the cars do today. And there's still interest in using these. If you're doing restoration work, you've got something old that you want to try it out on, it's still a good tool to use. So I'm going to do a demo today and show you how these are meant to work. Most of the work will be done with a flat file like this. And on this file holder, it's adjustable. And you can see how that'll bend. And you'll adjust it to fit the contour of whatever you're working on. Years ago, it seems like the cars had a lot more curves to them, the big round fenders and the hoods. You'd put a crown in to match the panel you're working on. I've also have a file here. Now this one isn't flexible, it's on a fixed wooden handle. If you have a panel that has a long concave surface to it, you actually use it and you kind of roll it in there. But for this demo, I'm going to use this flat one here. Okay, I've got this old van fender here. This is about the heaviest thing I could find to use it on. This top here is still pretty stiff. It's not going to flex. And I put a crease along the top of here. And this panel isn't perfectly flat. It's got a crown that goes this way. So I'm going to adjust the file to put just a little bit of a crown to it. Okay, I'm going to take the file and go over this. You'll be able to see the pattern that the file leaves in the metal. Okay, you can see the pattern from the file going across here, and the low spots the file didn't touch, so they're going to show up as a little different pattern in the metal. But I'm going to take my pick hammer now from underneath, lay a dolly on top, and I'm going to start right in here and I'm going to work my way down. I'll do a couple inches and then I'll file it and work all the way down here and take all this dent out. I'm using a fairly long pick here because I have to go underneath this lip, be able to get up in there. If you take your time and do it nice and slow, you can actually see the pick marks where they're hitting. You can move the dolly out of your way and you can follow your progress. Okay, I'm going to take the file, go over this, see how it's doing. Trying to get the light here right so you could see. It's got a little bit down the center to get, a little bit in here, and then here you can see where I haven't touched it yet. So I'm working kind of on both sides of it, working my way into the middle. And you don't want to get over aggressive and push this up too far because then you'll have a big high spot all the way around it you'll have to deal with. So nice and slow, take it easy, check your work with the file, but it's looking pretty good. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I can see the galvanized coating. It's almost like when you sand through primer. It's a couple different colors. So I'm going to take 80 grit on a DA, make this uniform. All right, I don't know if it shows up, but you could see the galvanized, how it's feathered back. And the only thing I'm seeing is a couple little bitty divots that the file didn't get. Those are so slight that primer surfacer would fill those in. In the old days when the metal was way thicker than this stuff here, you didn't have to worry too much about bumping it up too high because you had plenty of material. You just keep filing it off. Years ago, a friend of mine had a 53 Ford pickup, and I think it was a 1-ton. And that thing was built heavy. Being as a 53, it was probably built out of a decommissioned battleship from World War II. And I remember doing some picking and filing on a fender of it for him. And to get it roughed out, you couldn't use light hammers like these. I mean, that thing was heavy. You'd have to wail on it with about a 2-pound hammer just to get it close before you could start using a hammer and dolly. And there's still a lot of guys use these. If you're doing custom work, restoration work, they do have their use. On cars today and body shops, not so much. Okay, that should give you a basic understanding of how a body file works. This is one of the tools that you weren't a body man unless you had one of these in your toolbox. Now, I don't know if anybody even has them around the younger generations. And like I said, they shouldn't be used on today's cars. I hope you like this video. Give me a thumbs up, send me a comment. Let me know if you've used one of these files. Thanks for watching.